is up, you guys? Brooke here. Preptober is still among us, and that means that it is still time to be prepping for your novel that you are going to write come November time. And the month of November is NaNoWriMo, and for any of you all watching, if you don't know what NaNoWriMo is, it is National Novel Writing Month, but Preptober is the month of October where you are preparing like crazy for what all you are going to be writing in November. And so I do have a little bit of a tip for you today on how you can go ahead and be prepping for NaNoWriMo next month. Or I shouldn't say tip, I should more so say tips, because I got a few little easy tips that you all can use to be tracking your words that you're gonna be writing. I participated in Camp Nano, which was in July, and during Camp NaNoWriMo, I didn't really do a good job of tracking my words, or excuse me, hours. I didn't do a good job of tracking my hours. And because I didn't do a good job of tracking my hours that month, I made myself fail for Camp Nano. I was 3 hours off, and I didn't know I was 3 hours off until it all came to a close. I thought I had won Camp Nano, and I didn't, because I wasn't tracking my hours that I was supposed to be getting done, and I was so utterly pissed. 3 hours, that was it, and I completely jacked it all up. And it could have been prevented if I had been tracking things down properly. And so since I didn't do a good job of tracking everything in the month of Camp NaNoWriMo, I wanted to change all of how I was gonna be doing things for the actual NaNoWriMo coming up. I did not want to screw up again. I wanted to have it to where I wasn't going to just like screw myself over near the very end of the month where I'm gonna just have like crazy hard time of getting back on track with things. So I knew I needed to come up with some way of where I would be knowing what all is going on with all my words I'm writing. But I wanted to come up with ways of where it's gonna be easy for me to write it all down. I am not someone who likes to bullet journal. The people who like to bullet journal, all the power to you, and also good job for making your bullet journals oh so pretty, because I do not have good handwriting. I do not have artistic skills of drawing cute little birds or whatever in the corners. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not my thing. I don't keep up with it, and it takes too long to keep up with it to where I just give up and I just don't go back to them. So bullet journals and me don't get along. But since I'm not good at bullet journals, I've come up with a couple ways to... No, I got it dirty! I was about to show you my little notebook, and oh my gosh, I got like something on it! Okay, I think I've gotten most of it off. Okay, all right, moving on. So I'm about to show you two notebooks. One is a calendar here, calendar, and another one is my new notebook that I am keeping notes down in. Would you know it? You can keep notes down in a notebook? Go figure! So I'm going to be showing you two ways of keeping track of your words, which the calendar is pretty much a given, but I'll go over it still, just in case you're curious of how I'm doing that. But I will be showing you my game plan of what I am writing down in my notebook here. Oh, and by the way, if you can't read what this says from far away, it says, "Some people dream of success, while others wake up and work hard at it." I liked this because I felt like it's going to give me inspiration to wake up early and write my words down, so that way I can write down the number of words that I had done early in the mornings, because I need to be waking up early and be tackling some writing before I go to work. I think that's going to be a great way of starting off NaNoWriMo right. But now I'm going to talk about what I am doing, or what you could do. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to use this way of doing it or not sure. But I'm going to go over with you another way that you can keep track of your words by writing stuff down in a calendar here. All right, so I have my calendar open to the month of November, which of course is NaNoWriMo month. I am not going to decorate this calendar in any frilly way. That's just not my style. I like to just get in there and get out and just get my business done. And did not mean for that to sound sexual. So I kind of already wrote down in pencil what I had in store for like the first 3 days of NaNoWriMo to kind of give you all an example of what I'm doing. I don't mind writing in this, so whatever happens, happens. So the first day of NaNoWriMo is Thursday, which is anyone else annoyed that NaNoWriMo starts on a Thursday? Oh my gosh. So Thursday is the first day of NaNoWriMo. So let's say I wrote 1,667 words for that first day of Nano. That is my amount that I had written down. And so I'm going to go ahead and do an underline here and show that the first whole day I wrote 667. I'm going to show you all what I'm doing here in just a second. This top number here represents the amount of words I wrote down today, that very day. And whatever bottom number below the line represents what all I have done in NaNoWriMo so far for word count. And then the following day, which is Friday the 2nd, let's say I wrote out 1,800 words. So that was all that I wrote for that day of Friday. So I'm going to total up 1,667 plus 1,800 words, and what that adds up to is 3,467. So this is my new amount total that I have so far during this month, because 1,667 plus 1,800 equals 3,467. So then Saturday, let's say I only wrote 1,500 words. So this is the amount that I wrote out that day. And I'm going to now follow it up with adding in 1,667 plus 1,800 plus 1,500 below this line here, which equals 4,967 words. So that is what I have below. That's what this total amount is for those first 3 days of the month. Hopefully you understand kind of my method of what I'm doing. You're pretty much just keeping track of what you wrote that day while also keeping track of how much you have so far at that point. And also it's really great to go ahead and add every amount that you had written that day on the NaNoWriMo website, so that way you don't forget to add it. And also if you wanted to on your calendar, if you had gone ahead and entered in your word count for that day on the NaNoWriMo website, go ahead and just do an X or something, or do something that represents or something like that that kind of represents that you had added in that information. You could even say Nano at the top to show that you entered it on the Nano website, or you could even say website or something added or whatever. You can do your own little symbol or note of some kind on each day to show that you went ahead and added in that day's worth of words onto the NaNoWriMo website, because that's how you're going to be knowing if you actually won everything at the very end of the month or not. And now I'm going to talk about how I'm going to keep track with my word count by writing in my handy dandy notebook here. Okay, so here is my new little notebook, baby. I'm so excited to show you guys what I'm up to with her. I wonder if I should give her a name. Let's see. What should I give you a name for? Blue? I'm just going to call you Blue. This is my new notebook called Blue. Okay, so I've opened up Notebook Blue and I have written out the weekdays of what is going to be during this first week of NaNoWriMo. So the first day of the week is a Thursday, and once again, this annoys me greatly that it starts out on a Thursday because it just looks odd, but whatever. So I wrote out Thursday, November 1st through Wednesday, November 7th, so that way this is my whole first week here that I have written at the top. And next I wrote out my book's current word count. Now my book that I am working on for NaNoWriMo, it is a first draft that I am currently in the middle of. I am being a NaNoWriMo rebel this year and not starting out a book fresh from the start. I am already in the middle of my book. So for this example here, I'm going to show you my current word count that I have right now for my first draft. So if you were starting off your NaNoWriMo novel for the first time in this first week here for Nano, I would go ahead and write out 0. So that way you know you're starting from fresh. You're starting from scratch. So I went ahead and hit fast forward there for you guys. So I have all of my days of the week right here all laid out. And I have right here the first little section in this little graph type thing I've got going on. This word here says goal. And so I'm going to have it to where every day it's a goal of 1,667 words, because that's the typical number that you're trying to hit for Nano on a daily basis. And let's say Thursday comes around, this is my goal, and at the very end of the day, I had made 1,800 in words done. And I'm writing this here because this is the reality of what I did. So this is how much I had done in total that day versus my goal for the day. So let's say you have another goal of 1,667 words one day. And whenever you were writing this, you did multiple different writing sessions. Let's say you did a writing session in the morning where you did 500 words. And then you did another writing session where you had done 1,200 words that that you are going to total this up here, and you're going to have it to where 500 plus 1200 equals 1700 words. So you can kind of make a little note saying like this is your true number that you had hit this day. So doing this method that I am doing here, you are able to calculate not just your total amount, but you're also able to keep track of every writing session you are doing every single day. So let's say Sunday comes along and I know the following day, Monday, it's going to be a crap fest at work, and I know that after work on Monday, I am not going to want to write anything at all. I'm just going to be done. So if you wanted to plan ahead, you can make your goal for 3,000 on Sunday and write out what your goal is, and then you're putting that down as what your official goal was for this day. And let's say you did a couple writing sessions that day, one of 1200. Now that I'm seeing these commas, by the way, let's go ahead and separate your writing sessions by slashes instead of commas, so that way it doesn't look like you're writing like over 1,000,000 words. So let's say you had done 1200 words one writing session, and let's say you did another writing session of 1500 words, and then you could do another writing session where you did just 1,000. You're able to keep track of everything. And so now I'm going to write down the total amount that I had done that day. All right, so now that I added up this whole total here, I wrote down my official amount that I had gotten done that day, which was 3,700 words. So there you go. So you got to add those up there by making the official amount for that day, the reality of the day, for 3,700. If you knew that you wanted to take this day off, like you already know that you are not going to write anything that day, you can feel free to go ahead and write 0. I think writing 0 is fine if you know for sure that you are not going to be writing that day, because I mean, what if this was your goal where you just knew nothing was going to get done, but you actually got to fit in 1,000 words? I mean, that's awesome, because this was your goal, but now you are exceeding your goal and you're going to be accomplishing so much more once you get down to all this down here, which I'm going to show you here in 1 second. Okay, so I did all the math where I added up all of the goal days amounts, and it came out to 11,335. That was how much the goal amount of the week was supposed to add up to. And then I added up the reality of how the week went. So I added up 1,800 plus 1,700 plus 1,800, 3,700, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000. I added all that up, and that amount equaled 13,500. So that was a wonderful way to try and compare how much your goal for that week was comparing to how much the reality of your word count was. Because if I saw this laid out right here, I would be over the moon. I would be like, yes, I am over my goal and I am on top of the world. Then this number right here, I kind of went over a little too much on this line here, so ignore this line. Normally I'm going to be writing all this out on pencil. I just wanted to have it in bold type of color so that way you all could see it better. But this is my total word count that I currently have now, adding into 1,300 words. Adding that with my original amount that I was starting out the week with, which is this number here, I now currently have 50,224 words. And I'm writing that out that this is now my whole current word count for my entire draft. So this is a great way of keeping track not only of your word counts for each week, but you're also keeping track of your word count that you currently have for your novel so far. And then if you wanted to, you could also write out nano count. So I'm going to write this out here. And so both of these numbers, as the weeks go on for NaNoWriMo, these numbers are going to continue to grow at the bottom of the page. Your word count for your whole entire novel will grow, and then so will your nano count. This whole method of how I'm doing this, I feel like it's a simplistic way of just kind of laying out all of the separate numbers you're wanting to keep track of, but to where it's an easy-ish way of keeping track of everything. And so hopefully this kind of is helping you all out if this sounds like a system that you are wanting to work with for yourself. All right, so those were my few little tips on helping you to write down your word count and keep track of it easily throughout the month of NaNoWriMo. I hope those helped. I have no idea if that was kind of like, whatever, these are simple, or if that's something actually that you could do that doesn't seem like it'd be too hard and over the top to keep track of. What are you guys' ways of keeping track with your word count during the month of NaNoWriMo, because I would really love to know if there's more easy ways of doing that, because I mean, we're all prepping for Nano and we all want to kind of know the ins and outs on how to go ahead and keep track of stuff. And also feel free to subscribe for more upcoming videos from me. I post writing related videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and y'all should totally follow me on social media so that way you see what all I'm up to during the month of NaNoWriMo. And you can follow me at _Brooke Passmore for Instagram and Twitter. And also, if you're wanting to follow what all I'm doing on the NaNoWriMo website, you can follow me at _Brooke Passmore again. Thank you all so much for stopping by today, and I will see you next time. Bye!